Every build has that point where you've come too far to turn back, but there's still a mountain left to climb. And that brings us to episode 8 of the Super Rancho body swap. Now these are both owned by Jonny Smith from the Late Break Show. I'll leave a link in the description. Make sure you do like and subscribe if you want to catch the content on this crazy body swap. Now this all started when Jonny Smith brought this Talbot Matra Rancho to us and said, can you put this onto this, which is a Subaru Impreza WRX. And here we are. We spent 7 episodes stripping both cars, identifying the rust, doing the rust repairs on the WRX and on the Rancho as well, to lead up to this point of finally getting both cars, what we're going to use of them, structurally sound, and then marrying them together. So in this episode, we're going to continue the rust repairs on the Subaru and get all the rust finally done on the Subaru floor pan, and then we can move back onto the Rancho shell and hopefully get that shell 100% complete. So first, let's get the Subaru up in the air. Now in the previous episode, which I'll leave a link in the description, we repaired this chassis rail section and we made a new one of these, which is actually a strengthener for this corner. Now later in this episode, we're going to continue the rust repairs. We're going to do this section here, which is squashed, and we've also got this section back here as well. There's also a little bit of rust just underneath here. I'm hoping it's not going to be quite this bad. Let's get stuck into it. First, let's have a look at these inner sills. It looks like someone has investigated these previously, which is why the underseal has already been removed. But it looks like there's a bit of surface rust in them, which I do need to remove to get a full picture of the condition. Now I'm going to use a transmission jack to slightly lift the car off of this corner ramp arm, so I can then move the ramp arm out of the way of the repair that I'm about to do. Here you can see I've got 2 points of contact for extra safety. And now we can see the squash sill in more detail. First off, I'm going to cut the bottom of the sill to see what's going on inside. As you can see, this sill has seen better days. It's also had a previous repair. Here, I'm using the hammer and dolly to straighten out the inner section. And once I'm happy with that, I can now mark out some sheet steel for the repair panel. Now that I've made the panel, I can prime the inside and weld that on. Now there's a couple of layers that make up this corner, and here I'm starting on the second layer. Okay, this section done. Fantastic, beautiful, awesome. That means that we're very close to being done on rust repairs on this. Now, this intersection here, I'm not quite sure how much of this we're going to retain. We do need to obviously offer the Rancho shell up and see exactly where that meets. So I don't want to repair all this just to cut it out again. So I'm going to leave this for now. Also, the section over here, if you can see this, not sure if we're going to retain all of this or not, so I'm just going to leave that as it is. If we are going to retain this, then I can repair it. It's just a simple section in there. But for now, I'm going to leave that because, like I say, we might do the chop on that as well. So it means that the only thing I've got left to do underneath here, before this goes onto the jig and gets the chop, is this front section here. So very similar to this section, but it's, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that it's only this side here. But when I cut that out, I'll then see inside and see exactly what battle I've got to face. But yeah, I'm going to move this ramp arm backwards so I can get better access to that front section, and then I'll cut it out and then refabricate a new piece. And then we're going to move on to the Rancho shell. In the previous episode, we showed the repair of this whole component, but this side doesn't look too bad. So I'm going to clean the area up first and cut out the bits that I know are bad so I can get access inside and see what the inner's like. Luckily, inside here is good, apart from that bit that I've actually cut out. Now, you can feel inside here and you can't feel any corrosion whatsoever. I've shone a torch up in there and it's good, apart from the part that's on the chassis rail here, which I can buzz up from this side, clean it up, bada bing, bada boom, it's done. Now, I've used all the tools that we've got to try and clean inside here, but as you can see, inside this box section, you can't really get in there. And that's where the pulse laser cleaning machine comes in from Zach Lasers. Now, I'll leave a link to these guys in the description. If you can see it, you can laser it. So we're gonna use this to clean all up in here, then we'll use the RC900 to rust convert everything, and then make this panel. It's amazing how quickly and cleanly this machine deals with the rust. And it can get up in the corners that seem impossible with normal tools. So on goes the laser, and let's give it a quick test just to show you what it can do. Now I've used the laser, I can really see the condition a lot clearer, and luckily the only metal I need to replace is in this small section on the chassis rail. And here's a trick for really small repairs. Cut 98.5% through the panel, bend it to one side, and then place it on the repair section. This eliminates the need for a magnet and also to make sure you don't burn yourself. Once that section is done, I can then go in with a paper template and press my finger to the edge of the repair. This makes an indent on the paper and shows me the size of the repair section. Now it's onto the Mac Industries bench to clamp my repair section down and make a 90-degree bend where I can't fit it into the bender. And that hopefully marks the end of the rust repair on the Subaru. Obviously once we cut all of the sills off, there might be stuff on the inner sills which we will attend to when we chop this off, but we first need to get this on the jig to then be able to chop it off, which we are going to do in the next episode, so you need to watch that. Keep your eyes out for that episode. So that marks the end of this. Now while I'm waiting for the RC900 to dry, and then I can put the primer on afterwards, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to flip the Rancho shell over so I can see what rust I need to repair on there as well, and hopefully get that done and get it ready for primer in this episode. Fingers crossed. Now it's time for the Rancho shell. We've only got a couple of bits to do on this shell, but it's important to do it now while we have access. So let's start by cleaning the shell up. It's not bad, but it's not good. I've got this section to replace here. We've got some small amount of pit in here, and we've got some more significant amount of pit in here. Now I just need to go around with the flappy disc and see exactly what this is like. So I'm gonna take all this down with the flap disc, see what it's like, and then I'll mark out what I need to cut out, and then I can cut it out, refabricate it, bada bing, bada boom. So now we're done with the flap disc, I've decided to repair the whole bottom of this section, so I can mark it out and cut it off. Once it's off, I can use it as a template. Once I've made both sections, I can start by welding this bottom piece on. Now this is really thin metal, so I need to be careful not to put too much heat into it. And to do that, I'm going to put a couple of welds every few inches. Then I can let the panel cool down and then go in with another couple of welds. Now that the bottom's welded in, I can now get the top piece welded in. Right, those two panels are done. They're looking super nice and majestic. I've used some RC900 just to treat any more rust, so that's done, dusted. Most of this side is now done, except for this little section here, that little section there, and then I also want to do this as well, because this is quite pitted on this right-hand section here. So I'm going to cut this off, remake this, weld this on, then I can do these two sections here, and that should be this frame just about rust repaired and nearly complete. Here you can see that there's a marking plate on the back of this panel, which I can transfer onto my new panel at a later date. Well, that marks another milestone in this crazy build that we're doing for Jonny Smith at the moment. This means that this is fully rust free and we don't have any more panels to put in this. Now we do obviously have to clean it up. We've still got to get some etch primer on there to protect it and obviously paint it and all that good stuff. But that means that that doesn't need any more fabrication, which is fantastic. And that is also fully complete until we start chopping it up, which is going to be in the next video. So do catch it in that next video where we start to get the Subaru onto the jig. We chop the top off, we do the chop and we start to offer the Rancho bits onto the Subaru. Catch us then. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch us on social media, Instagram and Facebook, and we'll catch you in the next episode of the Subaru Rancho.